Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Fear to Freedom Project. Hello, everybody. Happy
Hello.
Monday.
Hello.
Yes. Happy
Hello.
day to you. I'm live from San Carlos, Panama, and I'm here with my girl, Stacy.
What up?
Yes, and we are here with all of our friends here from Ecuador. We're representing Taiwan and Panama here. So it's just so good to see everybody. How y'all doing out there?
Great.
Where's
Good.
LW?
Doing
Where were
good.
you?
Good. Doing good.
I'm like, where is he? Okay, hey LW. All right, glad to see everybody. I wanted people to, I thought about having this conversation because we all moved abroad. And we moved abroad at different times and for different reasons. And now it seems like because of what's going on in the United States, that political scene, people, and unfortunately it may take, this political scene when people are like, I want to move abroad, I want to get out of here. So I'm taking this opportunity to say, hey, you can do it. We did it, our friends did it, and I have some friends here. So we're going to be asking some questions, and also you'll be connected. I have a team. I'm going to be asking I have people that are on my team, and you know, I'm going to be asking the questions about getting scammed. What is it like to be scammed, or have you scammed, and what do you need to pay attention to? So let's get started. So I'm going to start with Valerie. She's the first one up there. I'm kind of go round robin. I've never done more than two people, so we're gonna be natural here,
Hello.
take our time, and have fun. Valerie, how are you up
Hi,
there?
Valerie.
Great, all is well.
Yes.
Hey.
What made you move abroad?
Well, prior to retirement, which was January of 2019, a year prior to that, I just didn't want to be in the U.S. So I started researching the 10 most economical places to retire. And Panama, Belize, and Costa Rica was my top three. I mean, you had Thailand, you had places that were so far, almost moved to Africa. But anywho, so I just researched Panama for 3 years, and it just checked so many boxes. It
Yeah.
just checked so many boxes. And in 2022, I did an exploratory trip here, June of 2022, and I was in love in a week.
Oh, that sounds like most people. They say the
Yes,
same
yes,
thing.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I had
That's
already sold my house the year before, so that was a plus. And by September 1st, I was here permanently.
well,
Yep.
good for you.
Yes,
I want to
ma'am.
welcome Ife. Ife just came in on, and I'm so glad. I know you were trying to get in here, but persistence pays off. We can't hear you though.
Oh no,
Oh,
Yes,
Oh
I
yeah,
can
we
hear
can
yes,
hear
you.
yes.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
great,
I wasn't
great.
saying anything.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's okay.
was talking.
Yeah, it did. Well, we're gonna I'm gonna kind of move around because I want to make sure that we get to everybody. So Valerie is in Panama,
What
but
part, Valerie?
yeah.
I'm in Nueve Gogona at the Bahia, the Bahia, as they would say in Spanish. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I feel like I'm on vacation every day. Like every day, this
Nice.
place offers all types of amenities. I mean, we have a pickleball court right up Deb's
Woo
alley,
woo woo.
tennis
Ain't
court,
nowhere.
Pickleball is up. Went crazy.
basketball. You got a
Everybody's doing it.
sauna.
Yes.
You could get a mani pedi, a massage. We have two
Yeah.
restaurants, one on the beach. It's just like you're just on vacation. And then that view is to die for. If you can see it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I apologize for my prison setting. It's the room, and it's the coldest room in the house, so it's real hot right now. So I'm not in
Same,
prison.
same,
I am
same.
in a room, and
It
I
do
am
kind of look
safe.
like you in prison though.
You know what I'm saying? Give me like
That's
a
okay.
background when you're editing. If you're editing, feel free to give me a background.
No, we ain't
That's
editing nothing.
okay.
We are live and we are doing it with fun.
Listen,
So
y'all air conditioned. We out here. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it's air conditioned for sure out
I'm out
here.
here too, but definitely have my little fan. So
well,
Yes.
you're in Taiwan, AK.
Oh
So
yeah,
Oh.
ni hao. That's
I
how
met
ni
you.
hao
I
in
met you in here
or China.
in Panama. What?
Mhm.
How'd you get from Panama to Taiwan?
Now, mind you, I grew up, as a child in the education system labeled with ADHD. So my travels are kind of a result of that.
Reflection of that.
Is it?
Hey, Panama sounds good. What about Costa Rica? London does
Sounds
sound
good
kind of
too.
cool. What about Nepal? How about South Africa? You know what? While we're here, let's go to Egypt.
I love it.
So
I love it. I love it.
Taiwan really just overall and everywhere that we went just really kind of hit the box because each places that we went, we always looked at settling essentially because we just wanted to be in the world. We really kind of want to settle somewhere else. But when it came to like visa status or government policies and how they ran things, like Taiwan is like, there's nothing that you can't do in Taiwan that doesn't take 15 minutes.
What?
Taxes, opening a bank account, I can go get food, have a doctor's appointment, and get some water within 15 minutes of Taiwan.
Oh
Like,
my
Wow.
God.
Oh no.
yeah, I can't even get into it. I don't even want to get into it right now because then there's going to be problems for where you're living at. I don't want to cause problems. But Taiwan we've been coming back and forth for 8 years. And it's been various things professionally and athletically that's pulled us back here. So this last trip when we were in Costa Rica, after being in Panama, it was really, my wife got called back after the COVID. That was really what changed us because when the COVID policy, they had a mandatory vaccine. And we're like, ixnay on that. So we left. And when they changed the policy, the school actually paid for my wife to come back to help manage and build up her English, build up one of the English teaching schools or the Bushi bands. These are the schools that kids go to after their regular school. Education system's no joke. And so they do another like 5 hours of English training. So my wife is the manager and teaching curriculum-based learning and working with the owners and stuff. And then me, after I was a consultant, academic consultant working with international schools and colleges, but COVID basically made me hands off because you got to do like in-person stuff. So I had to think about taking my knowledge base and now turning it to a virtual kind of platform. So that's what I've been working on in Taiwan. Just because of the affordability, the medical care that's covered, and all the resources allow me to live that life while I'm building my virtual business platform. So, and I'm playing this 3-on-3 professional basketball on the side too with my street ball team. So it's like I'm having a blast.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
it
good.
Sounds
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
really nice. What about I know we having some, wind or whatever wherever we are, but this is how we go live. So hey Lady Virgo, love you, babe. Glad you tuning in. All right, so we're gonna move over to Miss Althea because she's in Ecuador, and I just met her, and I have a planned trip to Ecuador, so I can't wait to do that.
okay.
Yes, that's where ayahuasca is. So, how are you, Miss Althea? Thank you. You know I love you. Tell us about Ecuador. What made you go over there?
Oh, she's muted.
We can't hear
But
you. Gotta unmute yourself.
If you guys are muted, just remember to mute yourself.
Yeah, I remember I was doing it trying to reduce background sounds as my cat's outside.
Right.
She wants to get in, and it's not the time. Well, it was sort of by elimination, if you really want to know the truth. By the time I started thinking about retiring, and by the time I started thinking about, I always knew I was never going to always live in the United States of America because I'm just not made like that. I got to know what's going on in the world. And so my friend said, it started with my friend saying, I heard you could live for $500 a month in Uruguay. I'm like, what? I'm like, of course that wasn't true, but it was the thing that got me rolling the ball early because I was just frustrated with work and I just didn't want to do that anymore, So I started reading International Living magazine, and they would do every year. They do the 5 top places for expats or retirees or whatever you want to say. And there was Costa Rica, Belize, Panama, I think. Another one that I cannot think, I can never remember, and Ecuador. And I sort of went looking. Uruguay wasn't there. And so I started like going around, and Ecuador came to be because it's a small country. It's the smallest, and it's very economical in terms of living here in a way that makes you not have to hustle and flow. It's hard out here for a pimp. That I'm not a pimp. You know what I mean.
I love
So
it.
I didn't know, anything about Ecuador except when I was in junior high school. We used to have to draw those geographical maps in social studies,
Yeah.
and we fill out South America, all the little countries, and color them in. That's when I knew what Ecuador was, and I promptly forgot it when I got about the time I got to high school. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I was initially going to Vietnam, but I decided to come to South America because it's closer to the US. And at the time, I just really wanted to be, for my first real foray out, I wanted to be close to getting home in case I had to go home for an emergency or something like that. So that's kind of how I ended up choosing between all those places.
Mm.
And that was 10 years ago. And
Well, you've been
so,
over there for 10 years.
yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Really
So
nice. So obviously
it's,
you feel safe there.
oh, I do. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. The people are extremely friendly, very nice, really warm. Um, I know you have questions for us about things to know about before people choose to up and go. So I won't start with that. But it's lovely. It's peaceful. It's small, which is nice. I don't like big cities. I mean, yeah, maybe I can hop in and go shopping or do something for a minute, but that's not my thing. I like peace and quiet, and the less people, the better. So,
So, well, good. I'm glad you're there. Thank you for sharing that for us. So I kind of chose people based on just having a variety of perspective. And we have women who are over 50 here. We have single mom here. We have married couples here. We have sage women here. And we have single men here as well. A single man. So, LW, if you can unmute yourself and you can tell us what made you choose Panama. Hey, Sequoia. Peace and love. I'm glad you're tuning in.
hey, Ladybug, how are you?
Mm, Good morning, everyone.
Good
Um,
morning.
for me, I was looking at retirement from the federal government in 2021. Actually, it hit me right before 2020 that I was ready to retire from working. So in
Mm,
2020, I started looking at different places in the United States to retire. And the economy, looking at places like Louisville, Kentucky, San Diego, Florida, Hawaii, I realized that I've gotten older and the prices are not the same because I lived in all those places during my military career. And the costs were just ridiculous because of 2020, where everyone was deciding that, yeah, I don't have to actually be in Washington, D.C. I can
Mhm.
actually live in San Diego and I can commute virtually back to work in D.C. So it caused the housing prices to start going up. And they got to the point where I was saying, this is crazy. I'm not going to buy a $500,000 house in San Antonio, Texas, when I know that house really only goes for around 200 and something thousand.
mhm,
So
mhm.
when 20, once COVID's over with, things start turning back around. All of a sudden, you done paid for a house and you're underwater.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I said, well, let me look outside the US. And I
Mm,
had got years ago that I had thought about living outside the US. So I had been to Portugal, Sicily,
Mhm.
and Belize was on my list. Costa Rica and Panama were on my list. I had never been to Belize, Panama, or Costa Rica. So did a trip in October of 21. And as soon as I got off the plane in Panama City, I said, "This is it." Uh,
Wow.
all the
You know
man,
when
and it,
you know. You know
uh,
when you know.
goodness.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
It sounds
it
like
all
everybody feels the
here.
same way though,
Yeah.
honestly. You know,
Yeah,
soon as you get here, you're like in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
How could you not be?
Wow.
exactly. So I didn't go to Belize. I didn't go to Costa Rica. I said, forget it. I did a tour around Panama. Spent a little bit more time in Panama City before I decided to leave. I stayed here about 2.5 weeks. And then I went back to the US and continued selling everything that I had and stuff and deciding to make that move. So at the end of 2021, December of 21, I retired from the federal government. By April of 22, I was back here in Panama. In May, I was in my apartment, which I've been there now since May of 22,
Oh,
and
good. 2 years.
plans in leaving. I live in Nueva Gorgona at Bahia. I
Mm.
love my landlord because anything that I ask for, they give it to me.
That's
Um,
Oh,
good.
that
That's
is
good.
good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
really good.
last apartment in Maryland um, cost me around 2,800 a month for a
Mm-hmm.
2 bedroom, 2 bath. So I'm
Oh,
paying, so I'm paying
no.
1250 for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath on the Pacific Ocean, and I wake up every morning to go to sleep to the sounds of the ocean rushing the shores. Wake up in the morning to the ocean rushing the shores, which is something that I always wanted to do in my life. The main points for me for coming here were the economy and the police in the U.S.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah,
Oh
yeah. That
yeah.
that is. I can
Yeah,
understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't scared to get up and hang out with my brothers and sisters and stuff in the U.S. I was scared that I might not make it home because some cop might be having a bad day, and that doesn't
Hmm.
happen here in Panama.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If the cop stops you, they're stopping you for a reason and stuff, whether it's just to check your IDs
Hmm.
or
Right.
because you were speeding or did a U-turn, which I've done a couple of those and got tickets for.
Yeah, that's a.
Um,
I feel myself speeding. I didn't mean to. Just the other day, I'm like, whoa, let me slow down because I don't want to speed. I don't want to get pulled over. I don't speak the language. I don't know what they're saying. We're gonna be Google translating it, and that's gonna delay some things. But thank you for telling your story. I didn't even know what your story is. I'm gonna come back and ask some questions. Andrea, my
Yeah.
sister Andrea. Now listen.
Hello.
Yes, hey,
Hi,
beautiful.
Andrea.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
Bob.
You know what's so special about you is that you came here as a single mom with your daughters, and
Mm.
that's like a big step. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in 2016, I left the U.S. and kind of like AK, I didn't know where to go, what to do, but I just looking for something different. And for my kids, at that time they were young, 3 and almost 6.
Wow.
Um,
Mm.
I at that point I had a family friend, a Jamaican who lived in Germany, and so we ended up in Germany
Wow.
for a year and a half almost, and just spare of the moment. And within 5 months, I put my house for rent. We put a house for rent. I rented out my car and said I was just going to leave the country for a year. Um, Wanted my kids to get kind of a different experience, something new, and learn different languages. So I thought I was going to go to Germany. I left Silicon Valley. I lived in the Bay Area, what they call in a $1 million shoebox. And I left and put
What's a
my
$1 million
daughter
shoebox?
Expensive.
Oh,
a
okay.
very
And
expensive house
small.
the size of a shoebox.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
And so I took my kids, my girlfriend in Germany, she had an international school there for preschool, but my oldest daughter was 6. And so I wanted to just throw her into the German education system. I threw her in there. I thought it was going to be, she left kindergarten in California, which her kindergarten class there was 25 students and from 22 different countries, where
Mm.
she went to Germany and she was the only one who looked like her. She was the only dark skin. Everyone else was blonde hair, blue eyes.
Mm.
Um, no one understood why we would want to just move to Germany or just go. They thought we were kind of refugees.
And so
Really?
that was a experience. But
Wow.
I threw her in there, and within the year, she was fluent in German. She picked up the
Wow.
language right away.
That's
Mhm.
good.
After the long, gloomy winter, I decided, and she said, "Oh, now, Mom, I want to learn Spanish." So we started looking at different Spanish countries. My top three were Panama, Colombia, Costa Rica. We looked at Barcelona as well, but wanted to kind of get closer back to the US because technically we were only going to stay abroad for a year. Then we decided Panama again, checked all of our boxes. For me at that time, now my youngest was starting kindergarten and my oldest was in third grade. So
Wow.
for me, I was looking at schools and areas that I felt safe and could really raise them. And Panama checked all those boxes. Like LW2, I wanted to live right on the beach. And I moved into an expat community there and threw my kids in the school, an international school, which their calendar follows the U.S. calendar. So on our summer break, I took the kids and we lived in a small mountain town here in Panama, where they were really immersed into a pueblo of 300 people. And I taught English at the public school there, and my kids went to school there during their summer break. So they didn't really have a summer break, but
Right.
after that first summer, they were fluent. And
Wow.
our 1 year Panama stay now is 7 years here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andrea, how did they adjust? How did the kids adjust?
Oh,
Yeah.
my kid, they adjust very easily. When we were in Europe, we traveled all over. Now my oldest started ninth grade here, and my baby started middle school, sixth grade. But they've traveled to over 24 countries, and
Wow.
we're
Lovely.
really immersed in the Panama life. We built a home here, so this will be home for a while now. And
That's awesome.
yep,
That is
so
awesome.
we
So
love it.
man, they are beautiful
Yes.
girls too. They are just adorable. That is a very empowering story for a single mother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
Takes a lot of
And
courage.
it takes
A
a lot
lot
of
of-
courage.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, you could like, I threw them in. Now, I
Right.
literally can see you like, bye, go, because
Yes.
I worked in
Well, kids,
elementary
in
school
education wise,
in
they're very
you.
adaptable.
Oh,
so
the
they
kids
like,
adapt.
Very
and
resilient.
so their education and their future, like with the languages, is like that's so big.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
now
huge.
my oldest is fluent in 3 languages, and my baby is fluent in 2. So
Yes.
I love the open-mindedness because sometimes we get so stuck in our own little world and space that we don't see outside of that. So the fact that you
exactly.
as a mom can just say, you know what? The sky's the limits. There's more to life than just
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
You've exposed them to such a future that's, oh my gosh, I can't even begin.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Good for
Good
you.
for you.
And it's for me raising kids here, like in the US. I mean, when I lived 3 blocks from the school that my daughter went to, but every parent would walk their child into the school, make sure they're safe. Here, I feel a lot more freedom. I drop my kids off at the plaza. They can go to the movies with their friends and
Yeah.
walk around. And I just love the freedom that they have and the safety that I feel for them here.
It's
And life
priceless.
should be like that.
Yeah.
It should be like that.
It used to be like that back home.
Yeah.
I can remember that, but then again, I'm up there. So
Well, you talking about being up there. What do you mean up there? You mean in your age?
in my age, yeah. No, I mean, I would have those exact same concerns. as
Wow.
Andrea. If I had small children, even that was my concern. I think LW was sort of, or Anthony was sort of mentioning, I'm not sure who said it first, about, potentially being um, not a suspect, but a victim of certain kinds of things back home, which is why I got my son to come with me, my adult son, to come here, because I didn't want him to be a statistic back home, so I can definitely identify. I certainly would do that nowadays if I had small children.
Well,
Like
talking
Andrea.
about being up there, since you want to describe it that way, I got to move on to Ife. Ife, yeah, because
You
you
may not
always talk about
appreciate.
being up
I'm
there.
up there.
She always talk about being up there. Ife is my meditation sister. So,
Ooh.
but when did you move, Ife? And what's really unique about you is that you don't live in the traditional expat communities like like we
Mm.
are.
We call them expat enclaves. Okay.
Okay, you got in the
We do not.
enclave.
I do not live in expat.
I don't
enclaves.
either, Ife.
Okay. Do not
When did
live
you
in
move
expat
here,
enclaves.
Ife?
Maybe it's an up there thing.
Yeah,
Well,
up there. Stacy
Well,
said that.
the thing is that uh, I got here because of a group that I was in Atlanta. We used to call ourselves the family, but just a loose bunch of just us. And we all wanted to live outside the country. And that was something we used to talk about. And as God would have it, some of us had moved to Belize, some of us had moved to Ghana, some of us to move to St. Lucia, and some of us moved to Panama. And one of those people traveled around to all those places trying to find a place for us. That is big ups to Kathleen Gill, who is no longer here in Panama, but Kathleen found Panama for us. And so after a cancer treatment, after breast cancer, getting over breast cancer, I was like, it's time to do that thing. You know what I mean? And so came to Panama, to visit Kathleen. And because Kathleen lived in Chitre, which many of you do not know of because it's like 4 hours from Panama City. She lived in Chitre. And so I got to spend my time in what I call real Panama. You know what I mean? Because everyone has to change when they're in the city. Everybody. And I'm a New Yorker. I know you have to change to be in the city. Panamanians have to change to be in the city. But in Chitre, they are authentically themselves. And we fell in love with that.
Yeah.
And so it was the values of the Panamanian people, which to me are faith, family, and community. You know what I mean? Which drew me to Panama.
That's
and
good.
So we came back for 3 years, until 2008. In 2008, we made a 3-year plan to move in 2011 when I retired.
Okay. So you've been here for over 10. Yeah.
13. Wow. 13
Wow.
years.
But in the same community though, Ife?
I have been in this house that I'm living in for 12 years. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I
The
love
first
that,
year we moved,
Ife.
Most
we were
people
6
don't
months
stay.
in one place and then 6 months in another place. And then we came to this place, and I have been in this house for 12 years.
Wow, Ife, that's why I wanted you on here. I know you have so much wisdom.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of highlight that because, and you're a single woman. Like sometimes
I had
moving
a divorce.
abroad
I
is
came
scary.
here married. I came married.
Oh, you came married.
Well, yes. Ken and I came together, and I got a divorce. Well, we separated in 2018. I got divorced in 2019, and so now I'm single.
Yes, and yeah. Okay, so you had to
But I
redefine
came
your
married.
entire life there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, understandable. So I didn't. I chose to bring in Alonzo last from the chosen few expats. It was a decision that I made purposefully. And so Alonzo, I want to shift over to you. You have a YouTube channel, Chosen Few Expats, and you are really giving people a lot of information about moving here to Panama. And I really love that. I'm glad. So if you are watching this, I would love for you to go to Chosen Few Expats, join that YouTube.
I will be joining.
Because Alonzo, Shannon and I followed Alonzo before we moved
So
here.
did we.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had a channel. He's talking about, things that were of interest to us. It's very informational, and
he has an online course.
And an online course.
That's right.
I mean, really helping people a lot to get acclimated here. What do you need to know? So we knew he was certifiable. So we were like, yeah, we got to have him on here.
Deborah,
we know you're certified. So I am just so glad that you took the time to come here and hang out with me and Stacy and the rest of the gang here. So tell us a little bit, like, you and your wife came over and y'all moved everything, because I saw y'all truck. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. We actually brought way too much stuff. So that's actually on my list of things, like mistakes that people make, is like bringing too much stuff. But some of that was business driven. We have one of our businesses, we make and sell holy anointing oil on Amazon. So I had to bring like a bunch of bottles and boxes and materials and things related to that. We needed a shipping container, and since we had a container, it just kind of gave my wife an excuse to fill it up. So
give us a reason.
Yeah. So, but it's all good. And thanks for those kind words, about the channel, and thank you, Stace, for mentioning the course. But yeah, we're passionate about helping people specifically move to Panama. But we just want people to leave the United States. Period. Wherever they go, it's a passion for us. And some of y'all hit on a lot of these things that's going on back there is the reason for people moving. I know you mentioned, Deborah, when we started off, the political climate is a big driver right now. But I don't want it to get lost upon people that there's a lot more going on than just that. People are focused in on that because of the elections that is coming up. But you do still have all these other things that, like LW was mentioning, like the inflation, which is bordering now on hyperinflation. You got a situation where the food, you got listeria and everything coming up every other week. There's something going on with the food and poisoning the food. I mean, you got people being torn apart along every line imaginable, along racial lines, gender lines, political lines. And it's just, it's just a mess, and you have to take all these things into account, and even everything that's going on overseas with these wars and everything that the U.S. is being drawn into. People aren't paying attention to, because it's like, oh, it's happening way over there, but it still impacts you, or it's going to impact you. So, all of those were reasons why we wanted to leave the United States. And so when we started looking, like Valerie said, like Panama just checked a lot of boxes, and like a lot of the rest of y'all mentioned, and I couldn't find anything negative about it. And like LW mentioned, we had some other countries on our list. And just never got around to them. Once we started checking into Panama, it's just like, okay. And I'm still sitting here right now, and I know I'm biased because we've been living here for 3.5 years, but I'm still waiting on somebody to give me a better option, show me a better option.
You sound like Shannon.
You see it. Like, there's places that's cheaper, it's less expensive to live in Colombia, or even Ecuador. But some places, like, maybe more dangerous. And places like overseas in Vietnam, a lot less expensive, but they're way on the other side of the world. So, I'm just still waiting on somebody to tell me what's a better option.
So since you know so much about Panama, what would you say are like the most fun places to visit, or what are some places you can highlight for those that
are well, I don't know that I know so much to say, like, okay, Ife's been here for a long time.
It's a different perspective.
We like to get around,
So I have been from one end of Panama to the other. And
what'd you say, Ife? We didn't hear you.
Oh, I said we had a tour service. We had a relocation and tour service for 5 years when we came here. And so we have been from one end of Panama to the other, and everything in between.
Yeah, told you.
I have been to all of the provinces, and within all of the provinces here in Panama.
let me go to a guest that's watching. So Rashonda, the talk is Central America. It's not Central America focused, is actually moving abroad focused. And so I just happen to be living in Central America and some of my friends, but sounds like you're over in Europe. And so yeah, you're in Switzerland. You're from Switzerland, and we're just giving people hope, and we're giving them empowering them to consider moving abroad, wherever that is. We just happen to be here. So thank you for that. Well, Alonzo, so yeah,
I
you
wanted to
consider,
get back to Stacy's question if I can.
yes, let's go back.
Yeah, so fun places to go in Panama for us. You know, we really liked the day trip we took to the Sandblast Islands, even though that was before they repaired the road. I heard the road is nice and smooth now, which would make things a whole lot better, because this brother that was in the Jeep with us, we had to stop like 3 times because, you know, he wasn't feeling so well. So yeah, I see you, Andrea. Yeah, but that was a really fun trip. Highly recommend that. And of course, the city is a lot of fun. They have activities and events going on like constantly. So we'll go to the city about 1 weekend out of a month. You know, we've been to like a boxing event in the city that was on ESPN2, like top 10 ranked boxers, like real WBA, WBC, top 10 ranked boxers. And then they have like MMA events. They have a lot of events going on, all kinds of festivals. We just went to the Rum Fest a couple of weeks ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's always fun.
They love their rum here, that abuelo.
They do. The other thing that's fun here is like a day trip to Boga Island on the catamaran. You can take the ferry, but it's more fun on the catamaran.
Okay.
Because it's all inclusive. They give you some you know, breakfast pastries and lunch and drinks and everything, and it's a full out party on the way back. Limbo, you know, pouring shots, everything else. So that's fun. And also Bocas del Toro, I would say, is a lot of fun.
I heard.
Dipping on those boats around to a lot of the islands.
I heard about them. Yeah. I want to go. I want to visit Bocas.
I haven't been either.
No. Well, what made you move here?
What made me? So like many of you, my husband and I are empty nesters. And prior to being an empty nester, I've been researching. I'm an island girl from Trinidad. And I think being in warm, sunny beach area has always been in me. So I would stay up at night, 1 a.m, 2 a.m, just watching YouTube channels like Alonzo's, learning about Panama. But it started off with international living and seeing where, what countries were the best places to retire. We did visit Belize. And at the time, that was about 7 years ago. It wasn't as developed.
It's still not.
Oh, it's still not. Okay, so the area that we went, it just wasn't. But I love the fact that they spoke English, so it would have been an easier transition. But Panama popped up, and we came here for the first time in 2021, I believe, and never looked back. Actually, we ran into Shannon on the elevator, and Shannon was like, "I'm packing up all of my blinky."
Yeah.
But we have not looked back. And so we do 6 months Panama, and we still have a place in the States. I'm able to work remotely, which is great. But from the people, from the cost of living, I love my fruits and vegetables and the fruit stands, and people are friendly. It was just easy. It was so easy. And it just brought me back to my childhood of when I was a little girl, just climbing mango trees. And I don't climb them now, but I see them. But it's been great. It has been really good. It has been good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting when a lot of people talk about like going back as a child in like those type of neighborhoods, because I kind of had the opposite growing up in like Pasadena and the Los Angeles area. So it wasn't until like and I experienced like safe, and then also like a different level of like family and community, because I've been kind of a outsider of my family from when I left, you know, to go to college, you know, for my scholarship when I played at UW. And so like from since then I've been away from Pasadena, so I've always been outside. So it's been traveling to these different countries and being able to observe like family values, community identity, conflict resolution, all these different type of ways and mechanisms in terms of how they work together. And so it's been in Taiwan has been one of those places where it's really challenged, me, because I've been so used to being solo, and I have a partner, where we're really comfortable just being with us, because we like, so like I have my person where, and so we can basically go anywhere and live in a box.
Yes, yes,
Or we
AK.
could be in
I'm
a
with you
palace.
on
Like
that.
you meet me and Kim, you can't see the difference. We could be in a palace, we could be chilling in the streets, but Taiwan has been that consistent space that's hit those check boxes. But also for me, because one of the things that I do for my wife when we go travel is like I give her not only like spiritual space, but I also give her like actual space where I can actually defend her and like make her feel safe in areas, because a lot of times those are issues, especially for women going by themselves. And so Taiwan's been one of those places where I could literally go to sleep and not think about nothing. You know what I mean? Because of how the country is, in the way it's managed. And so it's been good for us to be able to be here, but it's been the most safest place for me to drop my guard and be vulnerable and really think about the things that I wanted to build my business around, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Where it could be an added stress to be in a country where you don't feel like you have all the appropriate resources. And then of course, the healthcare and the food. Like Taiwan's almost like one of those old school, like neighborhoods where everybody knows each other, but in a real condensed metropolitan area. I can walk around in one block. I can go to the grocery store, fresh vegetables, get breakfast, go to the doctor's, dentist,
Same
acupuncture,
here.
massage, but it's weird because it's so condensed, but we're lucky because we have a on top of it. So I miss the beach, and when we're in Panama, that's still something because we're beach bodies. And so Taiwan was kind of more of a way to help us build our business infrastructure in the meantime. And so, but my wife is always talking about after she finished, I got to get back to the beach. So that's why we're going to check out Thailand and stuff. But Taiwan has been a nice.
Thailand, man! I was hoping you guys would come back here and continue to help people breathe.
We are Thailand, but I got to do some Muay Thai boxing, and then they got Buddhist priests I got to go check out, and I got all type of little ADD. I tell you, like I got. Hold on.
I know you, brother. I know you are.
So I have a question for all the single folks out there. Yes.
Good. I was like there next.
I just want to know, how are y'all doing? How has that been for you, being a single individual out of the country in Panama? What does that look like?
LW, what's dating like over there for a guy? What is that like? I mean, honestly, how are you feeling over there?
Honestly, it just all depends on where you're at in Panama. If you're in Panama City, most single guys would say it's great. There's all types of clubs, bars, women from not just Panama, but from Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras. There's women all over the place in the city. Now, when you get out to the beach communities and stuff, it's a little bit different. There are quite a few single women, but there aren't a lot of single men in like the beach communities or even up in Phuket.
Valerie laughing. Valerie, why you laughing? Sorry, go ahead, ALW.
Hard for a single guy and stuff. I remember I sent you something in regards to peer pressure.
Talk about it.
And it's when I say peer pressure, it's more of in the States, don't think that some of the things that you were doing that were going on over there disappear over here because we as expats a lot of times bring our mentality of how we were raised and stuff with us. And it's hard to get rid of that baggage. So for me as a single guy, the majority of my friends are married. And so when I hang out, I'm hanging out with married guys and married women and stuff. It makes it a little tough if you do not set up your relationship properly in addressing both the male side and the female side of their relationship. Because had my times where the females have seen me as a threat to their marriage or their relationship because I was single and thinking that
Oh,
I would
yeah.
take their husbands and do certain things. And it's like, that's not me. I'm not trying to get your husband into the clubs, chasing women, stuff like
And
that.
anyway, that's not your issue. Like that's somebody else's. That's your belief system. That's your fear. That has nothing to do with me. And you can just put your hand up and be like, I
It's
reject all of that,
But
ma'am.
that's a part of the cultural immersion is that
exactly.
when we see other cultures when that's what happens is that when you go to different countries, you start getting their perspective and you're immersed in their perspective of community, relationships, spiritualism, and that happens in the same way with our relationship because people will a lot of times meet us and they don't even believe Kim and I have been married for 16 years because of
Yeah.
our dancing, our
I can't
energy
hear
towards
you.
each other, our openness towards each other, how we share everything. And so I'll get that same thing here in Taiwan where like Kim will grab my phone and just go through it. And then she'll look at her man like, see, and like making these assumptions about what should and should not be happening. But I
Yeah.
think that's kind of good about the travel experiences, how it challenges our notions of different ideologies. You know what I mean? And that's the education part. But it depends on how you receive it too, because sometimes it'd be combative or conflicting. And some people don't know how to deal with that because we do take our assumptions and how we live and our arrogance into these communities, and we sometimes don't know how to check that. And so that's a good
Right.
point that
Just because
LW
we
brought up.
left
Exactly.
a country
And then
doesn't
the
mean
other
that
thing I
we
think
still have.
that you have to look at it and stuff is that as a single guy, you're trying to marry up yourself with your friends and try to figure out that, okay, what can I do and can't I do? Um, I
Wow.
do a lot of traveling, do a lot of trips where I'm the third wheel, and that's
Mm-hmm.
not a good feeling, but it's okay when the other two parties are okay with you being that way and stuff.
Wow.
It's okay with you being. It's okay with me being here with my best friend here is Dennis Doss, and then his wife Patricia. It's like I'm very cool with them. They're cool with me. We do a lot of things together. We travel outside of the country together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we do things, but there are some people that want to push you into doing stuff. I've never been that type of person who is a party type person.
Mm.
But you come to Panama and you're retired, they want to, oh, we got this event happening on this day, this event happening on this day. And it's like, hold it, that's not me. I don't want to do those things. I'll go to this and I'll go to this, but I'm not going to this because I need a rest. Oh, you can't tell them no and stuff, or else you won't get invited anymore to some
What?
things.
You know
Go
what?
here.
I'm so glad. I really wanted you to. I'm glad that you're talking about this, and I'm glad that I sent some questions like, "What do you want people most to know about?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, because I would have never. Do you understand me? I would have never even thought any of this was going on. Valerie, you were laughing. What do you say?
You mean a dating scene?
Valerie's so cool.
We
I mean,
need a dating scene out here. You said.
I did. Well, I guess if I was in a city, it might be a lot more eligible single men. But then, it's out here in the beach. There's not a lot of single men. It's just this available, should we say? It's just not a lot of single men that are available here.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
everything is mind over matter. I'm here to enjoy my retirement, to relax. Of course, it would be nice not to do this road by myself in this third part of my life, but it is what it is, and I'm just enjoying life. I'm just enjoying,
Good.
just
So
trying to not.
there's very
You
few
don't
people
want to
that can
get
do that. They
typecast.
have the
You don't
courage to
want to
be by
get locked
themselves.
into certain things and certain people and stuff like that. Especially when you're moving to a new country. The way that I felt, I was moving to a new country. I wanted to learn who Lawrence or LW was in Panama, and I wanted to meet the people in Panama and stuff. But to get locked in a relationship with anyone to the point where they kind of lock you down where you can't talk to certain people and have relationships with certain people and be able to open yourself up to the world and stuff to see what's it like to be here and how
Mm-hmm.
can I be a better me and stuff. And that's all about me right now in my retirement years, is being a better me.
Well, that takes courage to do that, and that's what I think makes expats that go into the world unique, because just everything that you were talking about, that's a practice. And when you're talking about engaging with different couples or communities, you have to, with just like in any other relationship, you got to build that language, you got to understand the ins and outs and how you work, and that takes energy, courage, time, patience. And so for those that are out in this that we're talking about, whether you're single or not, that takes work and courage and a constantly checking of who you are in these different spaces all the time, and that could be exhausting. And I think that's when I connected with y'all in Panama, that was where we all kind of intersected, is what management tools can we learn from each other to help us manage the stress of investigating ourselves. Because just because we want to be wise and understand ourselves to a deeper place, people, that's not easy. And then one of the things that they're not talking about when they say like woke community, like being woke takes just as much as work as not being woke. You know what I mean? So when you don't understand that, and you don't understand that practice with your own tools, it can sometimes just be something that I'd rather not do and let me go to comfort. But if you're an expat, which your one thing is comfortable with is discomfort. And I think that's
absolutely.
We all can, but that crafts our character. And I feel like that's the soul work of us getting into the world and learning how to deal with the differences, is like we're really crafting and understanding that it's not like a black and white issue, it's a human issue. You know what I mean? And that's what's evolved with my work, because my work was race and identity, white supremacy. How do we break the barriers between underserved student populations? But when I started drilling down my work, traveling, I started seeing inequity in all these different communities that look outside of my black folk. You didn't have to even look at their color, and you can see, what does it feel like to be an outsider, or to be cheated, or not to feel like you have freedom to talk. That those are not central to any race or creed. And so for me, it's evolved and pushed my work to help understand the difficulties in the human experience. And so, but that can only happen when you're willing to challenge yourself. And I see how we're all willing to do that. And that's kind of dope to be able to talk.
You are so deep. You're always so deep. Lord, we have to have a whole podcast just for you. Yeah.
I mean, I was based off what y'all saying. I'm just listening.
No, you drop vibing.
I'm vibing off with the vibe y'all putting off.
You always drop it. I love you. But Andrea, so Andrea,
I now have a Panamanian, like Ife, during my travels, I got divorced and I immersed myself in the Panamanian culture. And so I have a Panamanian partner now, and where I spend most of my time outside of the expat community, with my kids, and my youngest is starting track, so we're going up to traveling up to the city and to Chorrera. So we're all over. So I have fell in love with a Panamanian. And
may I ask, how did you meet? I'm just trying to, because Valerie mentioned, if she was in the city, maybe it would be different. So, but you're here at the beach, so you were open to the Panamanian culture. Tell me about that.
As soon as I moved here, I immersed myself in the Panamanian culture. Like I said, the first summer I was here, I talked with everyone at the building that I lived with to figure out where I needed to go to get the cheapest place to get my car serviced, the cheapest place to get my hair done. So I really vibed with the Panamanian people, and they've taken me all around Panama, showed me local spots, their culture, and I've loved it and experienced. And now I have a partner who, has helped me, and it's difficult. Like I said, now my kids go to school 40 minutes away, but they're on a bus, and My mom now lives here also half time. She stays here with me 3 months of the year, and so now I have a big support system here now.
That's awesome. That's
My
good.
school family and my Panamanian family, and
Yes.
it's nice. Yeah.
And
Just saw your
Shannon,
mom a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, the castle.
she gets around. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, she's cool. And Shannon loves your partner. That is his
Oh,
brother.
yeah.
That's our brother. Yeah. And I'm just glad that, you know, you can find love here. It doesn't matter who you can find love again. So what about Althea? What are you dating in Ecuador?
I am not.
Any Ecuadorian men there eligible?
Oh yeah, there are all kinds of people. I don't know how to. I get. I don't want to say proposition. That's not the right word. I get. What's that word? You know,
approach.
Thank you. I get approached quite a bit, and I'm always amused by it because they're all younger than me, and so you know, which is not hard to do, but and it's just like I'm just my mind isn't there. Although I do have living down the street from me a man that I really have known him since I got here. I've been here 10 years, but I've been in this particular apartment for 9.5. And he lives down the street. And from the very first time this man saw me, I call him my boyfriend. This is why I'm leading up to this story.
Okay.
Because the first time he saw me, maybe a month or two after I got in here, he approached me. He approached me and he said, and he had lived in the United States, so he has some English. So he approached me and he said, you know, I see you and your son, you know, at the store. And I'm like, who is this man? You know, and then he gets around and he goes, I single, you single. And I'm like, okay,
Understand that,
nice. Because I was on, you know, you're walking down the street. You're not like visiting. I'm on my way somewhere. He's on his way somewhere. So by the time that conversation was over, 3 times he had said to me, I'm single, you single. And I'm like, okay, got to get back to my kitchen because I'm cooking something. But so I teasingly say that's my boyfriend because he's long-standing.
No interest on your part.
Very nice. I'm very that's
we're trying to hook you up.
Not relationships for relationships' sake. That's not me. Okay. I've been done, you know, I've had enough experience in life to not, you know, just want to just have somebody so that I have somebody. No. So it's not like I couldn't, but I just don't. My mind is not there at this time anyway. Maybe when I'm, you know, 80. I don't know.
Don't worry about it. You got them little hooks out there, girl. I see you, girl. I see you.
Yeah. Well, you know, taxi drivers, all of these things. I get it all the time, you know, just.
Well, that must feel great.
Yeah, it does. It's nice. It's very nice. It's very nice. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate it. I do. As a woman, you know, I definitely appreciate the affirmation. You know, it's just like, okay. But I'm just not trying to hook up. I'm not just trying to, so many things.
Yes.
So yeah, it's available. It's available. And for me, I live in Ecuadorian community. So it's not like I'm not in a gringo community, what we call gringo here. I'm not in a gringo community. So everybody sees me. I'm the only one that looks like me in this neighborhood. So, you know, it's nice. I'm very happy.
I wanted to say to one of the members in the audience, Lady Virgo. Would you say Ife? I'm sorry.
I was going to say I have some dating situations to discuss when you get there.
Oh, good. Yes.
Can you hear
me? Don't leave us up there girls out.
Lady, well, we get ready. I'm gonna have to end the live stream because you know they clean up here at the Rio Mar. They are ready, and we're getting ready.
Can y'all hear us?
Can y'all hear us? We gonna have.
No, y'all getting kicked out.
Well, we probably have to shift a little bit. So let's get up, and we're gonna move over. Oh, okay. He's leaving. Okay. Thank you. because I'm
On
like,
that
they're
hoopla.
not gonna hear us. But Lady Virgo was just saying that it's, you know, it's chaos in the United States. It's really thick. She can feel it, you know, there. So
I can feel it from here.
yeah, we can
There.
understand, and this is the reason why we wanted to get together to just say, hey, it's something outside of the United States. And in addition to Rashonda, I want to shout her out. She's from Memphis, but she's been living in Switzerland for 20 years. So I want
I
to.
remember when she went there.
Yeah, I want to go check out Switzerland and Finland.
Had I known that, you would be on this panel, Rashonda, sister. So
yeah, I mean, I could have told you my friend that was here in Ecuador, Jennifer. She moved to Belize. She lives in Belize and is building a off-grid. What do you call it? Off-grid, self-sustaining kind of community there in Belize. So she could have also, but you know, I didn't know what you had in mind. I know a lot of.
Okay, that's okay. I just wanted to just have a little fun. We are reaching the 1 hour mark here, so I want to allow Alonzo to close it out because he has a very supportive channel. It's informational, and you can get a lot of support if you are thinking about moving to Panama. So tell me.
Before you do that, have you guys met Otishna?
No.
Otishna, okay, I don't know if she made it from here to there. She's moving to Panama. But anyway, don't forget Ife before you close it out.
Yes, go Ife, yes. I would never forget you.
About what?
The dating scene.
Yes. I have
give us the juice.
Yeah, Ife is that girl.
Well, because I don't live
and
at
then
the
we
beach
can close
and
it
I don't
out
live
after
at
I
the
get the
city.
juice.
I don't live at the beach and I don't live at the city. Okay. And I have dated expats and I have dated Panamanians since my divorce.
Okay.
Both of them, because I do
What's the
get
difference?
hit on. She said approach, but I get hit on by Panamanians all the time.
No,
all
that's
the
right.
time. You know, I dated an older Panamanian who was like his nephew lives here, and so you know he and I started talking and blah blah blah. You know, so you know we dated, and then I have also dated two expat, but I met them in the city because I hang out with city people more than I hang out with beach people because they are coupley out there in the beach. So since the
coupley, we
very,
coupley
very
out
coupley,
here,
very coupley, and so but since the buildup of expats in the city, and I've got a whole city crew of sisters that I hang out with in the city.
Wow.
That is how I ended up meeting two expats through the city group that
so Valerie got to go to the city.
So
yeah.
I met
heard that,
somebody
Val.
Valerie.
and then I met somebody.
We are willing to go with you.
I gotta hook up with you guys after.
We're gonna be coming down there.
Ife, listen, Ife knows. What you say? What you say?
I said when we would come out to Panama, I said we're gonna come try to hang out with you because you know we're always trying to look for places to dance and hang out.
Yeah. You all are amazing on the dance floor.
Well, the city community has just burgeoned so greatly in the last 5 years here in Panama that it's just like an explosion of all of you people moved here, especially the ones in the city, and so there are communities in the city that I am a part of, which really have expanded, my association with single women and single men, and just single situations, where everybody there is not married. You know what I mean? It's a club situation, but everybody's single. You know what I'm saying? And so, I've had more of those opportunities, and that's good. Personally, I'm not looking for a situation. I do not want a permanent situation. I've been married 3 times. I'm through with that whole situation. I don't want any.
Y'all hear this? She's like, I'm good.
I don't want any of that. So I'm just looking for, general companions,
companionship,
occasional drop in. I'm just saying.
Okay. You caught that right?
Like a free flowing thing, because I ain't trying to nest. I ain't trying to, build no life. With you. I'm just saying. So that's the way I roll.
The disclaimers out there.
Things have been pretty good for me.
That's how Ife rolls. Shoot, you got to roll.
I'm telling you.
I love it. You are so sweet. Listen, so I'm gonna have to start wrapping this up, and I just wanted to express my gratitude to you, my co-host.
Well, wait a minute.
Thank you.
You
What?
didn't tell us about you.
Oh, it ain't about me.
Panama, we know that.
Yes. Well, I love it. I followed. Shannon wrote all of this together. He figured it out. He got the attorneys. We interviewed them, and just when he met you, we were visiting, and he was like, we're gonna go back and we're gonna move here. He was just so focused, and honestly, I was following. So that's how we got here. He figured it out, and we went home and we visited a couple of times, spent a couple months here, and then we were just like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And we did pack up some things, and I probably would have done it differently. However, it has been beautiful. Our journey is beautiful, and I love being in Panama. I did not enjoy it. I don't think the first time I was here as I moved here, because I had to adjust. I mean, it's a whole nother country. People were not, they look like me, but they did not speak like me. So I'm going up to people that look like me, like, how you doing? They're like, no, English. I was like, what? You look like my cousin. You don't speak English? So, I had to.
It's an adjustment.
It's an adjustment, and you need to learn the language. If I would say, get on Duolingo and start to learn the language, at least a little bit. I am good with Spanglish. I can get us places. Yeah, so speak the language.
That's one of my big pet peeves. That's one of my pet peeves.
Really?
The whole language thing. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You are a guest.
AK?
You are a guest here, and you need to learn the language. At least enough to be polite. And
yes,
to act like you're
to be grateful,
because they will help you if you try.
Co-sign.
But that
I
whole
co-sign that
expectation that
effect.
everybody's going to be speaking English and then getting all upset.
A lot of expats do that.
Doesn't speak
English.
You
don't come here thinking that.
As if it's their fault that they don't speak English, but Spanish is
no, but we're in their country.
But that's another way too. If you
want, that's what LW was talking about, coming with that same mentality and that same belief system. That's exactly what he was talking about. So people, do not do that. And if you run across me, you're doing that, I'll call you out. I love you, but I'm calling you out. Don't come over here with that.
Well, I mean, if you want to really connect with the community, and if you really want to build like authentic relationships, the more you are able to learn the language, that's an easy way to immerse. Like here in Taiwan, like the Chinese language is very hard. But I have, and also too, just with my like health practices and stuff, it's important like who fixes my food. And so I have literally like 3 spots. I have a breakfast joint, I have a fruit place, and I have another place. And I've been going to them since the 2.5 years we've been here. And when I walk in, they like make my food with love. I mean, they have an intention around it. But every time we're practicing on like how much my food costs, what change am I getting back? And every time I'm okay with looking foolish. And that's the thing. Sometimes our ego gets in the way. We're scared to look stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or look like we don't know.
And
that's the biggest thing. If you get comfortable with not knowing and emptying your cup and letting the people inform you. Like I live in an elder community. The elders will let you know exactly what's going on here. You know what I mean? I'm the only one that looks like me in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Gotta love the elders.
And I listen to the people, and they will tell you exactly what to do, how to deal with everything, but you have to be open. And the more you do it, you'll have absolute great opportunities to build deep, meaningful relationships. Because the language is, for most people outside the U.S., it's like a part of their soul, like how they translate the essence of their community, their culture. So knowing that is a big honor if you take the time to genuinely give it out.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what? Thank you for that. Absolutely. So I know that I want to give Alonzo some time because he's got to get out of here, and I don't want to rush anybody else. We're going to wrap up in a little bit, but Alonzo, what do you want people to know about moving abroad, but also moving to Panama? Where we're talking about Panama. I'm here. So what do you want them to know, and how can people follow you as well?
I mean, y'all just, we can just piggyback off of what you all were just saying. It's very, very important, to, realize that you move into a foreign country.
Right.
You're no longer in the United States. Like LW said, don't bring that baggage with you, because a lot of people do. We still bring our attitudes and,
that's right.
Our way of life. And it's just like, this is not the United States. This is Panama, so you need to really understand, I would say, the people whatever country you move into, whether it's Panama or wherever, you need to try to understand what the people are like, what the culture is like, you know, so that you can figure out how you're going to adapt or how much you're going to immerse yourself in that culture and to what degree. Because, you know, you have some people like, you know, Andrea and Ife, and say, okay, I'm going to immerse myself 100% in the culture. And then you have others, I mean, like us, I think we kind of fall kind of in the middle. Yeah. We stay hang with some expats, you know, and we have some Panamanian friends now, actually through playing pickleball. We started playing pickleball. A lot of Panamanians started playing. And, you know, now we get invited to a lot of events and stuff with, you know, a lot of the Panamanians that we met through that. And I think they do appreciate the fact that you try to speak Spanish, speak the language. They appreciate that. And I would just say, don't have any fear when it comes to that. Just practice on your own, practice within your home. And then when you get out there, it's going to always feel like sometimes when you get caught up and you be like, you're trying to think of the word, it's going to feel like 4 minutes went by before you said something, but it's really only 4 or 5 seconds, right? So they'll be patient with you. And I would just say, you know, keep that in mind. And the other thing people need to know is all your friends and family are going to tell you you're crazy for wanting to move, for trying to move, whatever. Don't listen to them. That's all, you know, that's really it. Don't listen to them. Do your research, you know, whether it's Panama or wherever it is you're going. The 2 most important things you can do is to do your research, learn as much as you can. And then also you need to go to that place, take at least one exploratory trip, hopefully more, and get your own eyes on it and your own feeling about how it's going to suit you. Those are the 2 most important things, you know, that you can do. Absolutely. And as far as finding us, as Deb mentioned, we have a YouTube channel called Chosen Few Expats. And our website is PanamaRelocationOnlineCourses.com. And so from there, you can get to our YouTube channel. We have a Facebook group called Panama Relocation and Expat Experience. We just started up a set of tours, actually, for those who are interested in coming to Panama. Private tours, basically 3 or 4 people, whoever I can fit in my own vehicle. So to go along with what I said, it's important to be able to see the country and get an understanding of where you're moving to. And I'll throw one last thing in there before I throw it back to you. There are a couple of things that people, I think, really overlook a lot when it comes to research. People are always looking at cost of living. Okay, that's cool. You're going to look at cost of living, housing, all that. People really tend to overlook, like, you need to understand the government structure of the country that you consider moving to. And you need to understand, you know, how the economy works. Because you don't want to move to a place and then like there's like a coup the next week and the president's overthrown and the country, you know, things are in chaos. And then similarly with the economy, you don't want to move to a place and then it's like the economy collapse. So Panama's backbone is the canal. You know, we know that it's a strong economic backbone that it has, and they have a strong, you know, democratic structured government that's similar to the U.S. government structure. So those are things that I recommend people to look at.
Yeah, I definitely second what you're talking about with understanding the government structure, because that was some of the things that was frustrating about trying to live in certain areas, because some areas, if you pay a certain amount lump sum, you can get access to citizenship or a certain amount of time. Then you have visas, cars. Like we drove from Michigan across the whole state through Mexico all the way down to Panama, and then the nationalization of a car. Like, so you doing your due diligence about the policies and how things work is really on you. It's not that country's responsibility to inform you about what's going on, because every structure surprisingly is different. Every government and their little politics and what it is, that's a part of the hassle of traveling. And so make sure you have your passports and all those things. And one thing above all, be polite.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can get into trouble real quick.
This is where like elitism and like arrogance is not the place.
Hey, leave that American slick mouth in the U.S.
Leave it at the border.
Hey, I don't care what hood you came from. I don't care whatever.
It's the truth.
Anthony,
be nice. Going
That's
across
right.
the
Be
border.
kind. Yes, yes.
Respectful.
Yeah, because me,
Give
I
them
was always a
respect.
target because
That's right.
I was always bigger than, and I could be intimidated because I'm an alpha man. I have short fuse, and so I had to check my own self because when I get out of the car and I got tattoos on my chest and arm, they're just like, "What's up?" And I got to be like showing smiles and everything because that's a problem. And not everybody's under the same jurisdiction because they got weapons and all. Mafia for sure. You know what I mean? You got to understand like where you're at. You know what I mean? And so the arrogance and one thing that could do traveling could be a great humbling experience if you embrace it.
That's right.
The world could be a great teacher, just the way it is. Don't go in there trying to.
Yes, but it's the truth. The world is our teacher. It is the greatest. Well, I want to say, if anybody else has anything parting that you want to say, you think, give you 60 seconds to say, this is what you really need to do. If you're good, that's fine. But I want to make sure that whoever is watching this channel, that you get a variety of information, that you feel confident, that you see that we are an eclectic group. It's working for everyone. We go back and forth from between the United States and Panama. You don't have to make a decision right away. But I tell you what, you having a visa in another country is very important to me, and it's valuable to me. I see it now, and I'm so glad that we made that decision at the right time for us, because I believe that you have to buy property now to get a friendly nation visa.
Well, everything is like is changing to countries, but you have to do your due diligence. And I think like the biggest thing, if you're going to want to travel, I think if you really want to understand the depths of your character, then I would encourage you to travel. That's the best thing that I could say, because everybody has a different flavor. But whatever, if you're outside of your comfort zone and traveling the world, it's going to challenge you in ways that you know and don't know. And at the end of it, if you're going through it graciously and open, you're going to be not a complete, but you're going to be a refined person and evolved. Because your character is forever there, but it will be chiseled and refined.
I do have something to say though. If you do make that choice to relocate, please, I don't care how much you get attached to stuff, not even probably a third of what you think you need, you don't even need that.
No, I got a backpack.
That's the truth.
3 times.
Great advice.
I still have too much stuff. I have.
That's the truth.
That's good, Valerie.
That's a harder one, because that's attachment. That's attachment right there.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to let go.
We
don't know how to let go.
Not even a third of what you think you need.
Yeah, we have a backpack like right now. If I give you a tour of our place, it would look like a very clean prison. I
know that about y'all. That's true. I do know that about you guys. You all are world travelers, so you are prepared in that way. I've watched you. I watched Kim put all of those beans, because she carrying her beans in the jugs, and it really encouraged me because I want to travel lightly.
Also, too, you got to deal when you talk about like eating habits and like when you start looking at management tools, like you have to also deal with what are you willing to do? What inconveniences are you willing to do to make sure that you're eating healthy? Because right now, like for us, when we're in Panama, we don't eat fast food. We don't eat none of the market food. We're making our beans. We're soaking our stuff. We're making the rice. We're meeting with exactly whatever the locals is eating. We're trying to check that out and then add our nutritional value.
Yes.
When we're in Taiwan, when we're in Egypt. So we're really okay with looking at what resources we have locally and utilizing and transforming whatever we need accordingly, versus saying, oh, I need to make sure I get my Big Mac. So I can't do that. You know what I mean? And then also too, but I don't eat that way. Just getting stuck on or attached to whatever type of food that you're used to eating, or those comforts. And then also too, the lessons of like learning to let go. As you get better and better, you start realizing that becomes less of a stress. So now you're able to better enjoy whatever those locations are, because you're not attached to making sure I got this or got that. Because I was in Egypt living in a 5-star hotel, and then we were in Costa Rica living in the back of someone's house, having a great time. You get what I mean? Because it worked. So learning how to be open to really, and the more you detach, the more you're able to pay attention to your spiritual intuition that will help really guide you, and I think that's what helps all of us.
For where I lay my head. I'm sorry.
Deborah, there are some comments there wanting to know if you're reading the chat.
Yeah, we're reading. We're right here. We're reading everything. How are you?
Here?
Yeah, we're reading the chat. Yes, we are. You have a question, you can ask. You just type it right there. We are monitoring the chat. So,
Anthony, are you from Michigan, Anthony?
No, my mom is originally from Michigan. I'm from Pasadena in California.
I heard you say going through Michigan, so that's
yeah,
my
my mom was in
hometown.
Michigan, and we left there and drove because she's in Marion. She lives in Marion, Michigan. You know, so.
Well,
What
I'm
part
getting ready to get out of here.
what part of Michigan your mom from?
Flint.
What'd you say?
She grew up in Flint.
Okay.
Oh, Flint. I'm from the D.
Detroit, Saginaw, Higgins Lake, all of it.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Detroit.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Boy,
hey. Love that.
I definitely know we have somebody we have in common with. You're from Detroit for sure.
From the D.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. Any DC natives out there? Peace and love. We love y'all.
Not to be left out.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Gary, Indiana, GI, baby.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, style.
I live there.
Listen, I wanted to say that I love you all so much. Thank you for just making this possible. Stacy's birthday is September the 15th. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
My birthday is September the 16th. So that's why so this is a great birthday gift for me that I was able to get together, that you all accepted the
Virgo
invitation.
abounds.
Virgo season. And we appreciate you for joining us live today. I stumbled upon your live. Are we talking about politics? No, we are not talking about politics.
Like they
on
would
my
say
channel.
in Taiwan.
No, we're not. We're talking about moving up and living abroad. No politics here. I don't even do it, you know. Yes, that's an absolute no. But thank you for coming. We're talking about moving abroad. So anything you want to say?
It took a lot of courage for us to do what we did.
And I'm proud of us.
Yes.
That's right.
And we didn't allow fear to keep us from exploring.
That's right.
Fear to freedom, right?
That's right.
All right.
Fear to freedom. I came up with that name here, actually. I mean, I had so much of a spiritual awakening here. But yes, I came up with that name. I was, my higher self said this is be the name. And then a year later, I started to and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be it. So yes, you have so much courage. I'm so proud of you. Thank you all. I love you so much. You are my friends and my sister. And listen, you can always, again, subscribe to the channel, and I am around. You can ask your questions here. It's okay, Benir team. He's laughing.
Hey, I'll get you guys back on my platform. I'm about to launch my platform, so I'd like to have all y'all together.
Well, we gonna come back and we gonna
we all have platforms.
Okay,
when one of us
up there,
girl.
Before we leave, one thing that I saw. Big thing that is important that I've seen as a big trend is as communities start getting together, like as we all are like taking these individual actions in our life, we essentially are now building our community virtually and physically, and then we have a chance to kind of use and join together with our platforms to build our own institutional framework.
Perpetuate
the practice.
Right. There you go, Unity.
Virtual and then land. You know what I mean? So when I launched mine, because that's the whole point of my launching my platform as a vetting system to really help people understand what I've learned and what I'm about. So when we come together, transparency. I told you my crazy here, so don't be acting like you don't know. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my business platform and using video and social media and AI stuff like that as a way to communicate that. My ADD, I gotta have help. So when I'm looking at these resources,
we are fun, Benner team.
Thank you, Ben team. We are having fun.
We'll come together again. Let's do it.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, let's do it.
And then you can invite maybe some the European factions.
Hey,
and
I've got a friend that lives in Lisbon. I've got a friend that's in Lisbon.
There you go.
And she moved to Lisbon from Brazil, where she moved.
Just to be real honest, she
moved to Lisbon.
Listen,
so
everybody, real quick. I got like 80 acres in South Africa that was granted to me by a tribe in like it's waiting.
What? We need to go over there.
Yeah, we need to set up shop down there. We need to set up shop, Anthony.
We don't got to do this. We could do something else, but
we can do something. We got options.
Wakanda forever.
We don't got to do that. We can do something else. We'll think about our branding,
you got to
identity,
set up
and
shop
logo
for us
later.
down there, Anthony.
We'll look at our branding, identity, and logo later.
All right. Well, I love you all.
Guys.
Love
Thank
you,
you.
Miss
If you
Jen.
are
Take care,
Love
everybody.
meeting all of
All
you
right,
guys.
you
I
are
hope I
new.
get to talk to you again.
Thank you,
Ife,
Deborah.
All right,
Anthony,
thank
You
you.
guys
Thank
are
you,
so
everybody.
Lonzo,
Take
Send me a
care.
message.
Nice
Well,
meeting you,
Okay,
like,
just
Althea.
one second.
Lori,
Just one second.
love
Beautiful
you.
host.
One second.
Stacy.
So if you are new to this channel and you're watching it for the first time, like and subscribe.
let's close
Yes.
now.
And you're
Let's
watching the
close
Freedom
her.
Project.
Yes.
And if you're a returning champion, we love you so much. Thank you so much for just supporting this channel. I didn't know
Hey,
what I was going to be
Bobby.
doing when I started it, but it is beautiful. So I love you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Happy
it.
love
birthday,
you.
Queens. Happy birthday, Queens.
Yeah, happy
Thank
birthday to
you.
the
Bye,
Virgos.
Jen.
Birthday.
Bye-bye. Bye, Jen. Bye-bye.
All right. Love y'all. Peace and love.